Welcome to Reds Focus LFC fans. Today we bring you the top 4 breaking Liverpool news headlines. Let's dive in.
Big Liverpool news today. Arne Slot speaks out on Mo Salah's form, reacts to Van Dijk's team meeting, and Pep Guardiola makes a bold Premier League title promise. Plus, a £35 million midfielder could return to Anfield. Don't miss it, hit subscribe, smash that like button, and join the Red family for daily Liverpool updates. Arne Slot makes feelings clear on Mohamed Salah form and what Liverpool must do next. Arne Slot has made his feelings clear on Liverpool forward Mohamed Salah, who was taken out of the team midweek for the Champions League hammering of Eintracht Frankfurt. Arne Slot has insisted that Mohamed Salah retains the fire required to perform for Liverpool and will only grow worried when the forward starts accepting being left out of his starting size. Salah was relegated to the bench for Wednesday's Champions League encounter against Eintracht Frankfurt and squandered several scoring opportunities during his brief substitute appearance as the Reds cruised to a commanding 5-1 victory. The Egyptian appeared visibly frustrated following the final whistle and was amongst the first Liverpool players heading down the tunnel after acknowledging the travelling supporters. While a groin problem for Alexander Isak means Salah is highly likely a return to the starting 11 for Saturday's Premier League encounter at Brentford, Slot has no concerns about the 33-year-old's displeasure at being omitted, reports the Liverpool Echo. I hope he is not ever going to take it well, because the moment you are going to take it well, then you miss the fire, declared the Liverpool head coach. That goes for every player, by the way, not only Mo. The moment you start to accept that you are not playing anymore and you are fine with that, then you miss the fire that is needed to play at this level. My experience in general is that it's quite hard for a player to understand why he's not playing. They all see football through their eyes, and again that's a good thing. If you go over to all 20 players now to name a lineup, I'd be surprised if there's one player who doesn't put himself in. That's not to say that they don't understand we have more than a few good players here, and once in a while somebody isn't playing. But if we have to play a Champions League final tomorrow and you ask them to make a lineup, I'd be surprised if one of them doesn't put themselves in, except maybe youngsters Rio, Ngumoha, or Trey, Nyoni. Another goalless outing means Salah has now endured 6 Liverpool matches without finding the net. He is edging towards his longest such drought of 8 games from February and March of 2019. Slot, however, remains convinced that the forward will recapture the lethal touch on display during his 8 previous seasons with the club. The way he trains, and when we do finishing drills, you cannot lose that, Slot said. The only thing is we have to keep bringing him into those positions, and he has to bring himself into those positions. Arne Slot responds to Virgil van Dijk unplanned Liverpool team meeting, none of them should. Arne Slot has addressed the team meeting Virgil van Dijk led after the loss to Manchester United and his huge respect for the Liverpool captain. Liverpool will come face to face with a reminder of their glorious recent past when they attempt to breathe new life into their faltering Premier League title defence this evening. Former Red skipper Jordan Henderson will be in opposition for the first time since leaving in the summer of 2023 when Arne Slot's side take on Brentford. The Reds avoided a 5th successive defeat and a worst run in 72 years by beating Eintracht Frankfurt 5-1 in the Champions League in midweek. Nevertheless, 3 straight Premier League reverses have seen Liverpool slip for points behind leaders and new title favourites Arsenal. Sunday's miserable 2-1 home loss to bitter North West rivals Manchester United prompted current Anfield captain Virgil van Dijk to call an impromptu players-only meeting the following day to thrash out where things were going wrong. And Slot believes his fellow Dutchman was right to offer a different voice to the suffering squad. What Virgil did and what I did is what you need to do, what all the players did, said the Liverpool boss. None of them should accept a loss against United, especially after already losing 3 games. That was something I was not happy about. It would not be good if the voice they were hearing was always me. That is why they hear my assistants too. And I don't think it was like Virgil brought them over and said, gestures working on a tactics board from now on we must play like this. We have 5 players who are captains of their national team. Virgil was not the only one who said something. You need that with experience, all of them can have a proper conversation. I encourage them to take responsibility and talk to each other, whether they are in the sauna or swimming pool, or when they are standing around with 5 or 6 of them. But if we have a leader like Virgil with so much respect in the group, then it is a good thing. Slot added, I have had this experience maybe 250,000 times. If they are sitting upstairs at the coffee bar now, do you think they talk? I think they do. They constantly talk, sometimes that is done with everybody and sometimes just the leadership group. They talk and they should do. They feel what happens on the pitch. But when it comes to tactics, that is my territory. The influence of Henderson, who is the only Liverpool captain to lift 6 different honours, can still be seen at the club's AXA training centre with an inspirational quote from the England international emblazoned on the wall behind which Slot was holding court to preview tonight's match. Van Dijk, who will captain Liverpool for the 150th time tonight, succeeded Henderson 2 years ago and skippered the Reds to the League Cup in 2024 and the Premier League last season. Pep Guardiola makes Liverpool Premier League title promise, I'll tell you. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola has been speaking about why it is too early to rule Liverpool or any team out of the Premier League title race. Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola has hit out at the pundits who he believes are too quick to rule teams out of the title race. And he has promised that defending champions Liverpool will discover their best form. City ended last season trophyless for the first time since Guardiola's debut campaign in Manchester. And they were being written off in some quarters in August after they followed up an opening day 4-0 win at Wolves with back-to-back defeats to Tottenham Hotspur and Brighton and Hove Albion. Since then the Etihad outfit have won 4 and drawn 1 of their last 5 Premier League matches to move up to second in the table and within 3 points of leaders Arsenal. That is the same Arsenal side who, on the back of 3 straight second-placed finishes, came in for criticism after they went down to a 1-0 defeat at defending champions Liverpool in August. Since then they, too, have taken 13 points from a possible 15. In contrast, the title holders have lost their way lately, with the Reds heading to Brentford on Saturday night looking to arrest a run of 3 successive league defeats. But Guardiola has no doubt that Arne Slot's men will hit back. Speaking at his press conference to preview his side's trip to Aston Villa on Sunday, the City boss said, well, in the first 3 games, yeah for sure we are out of the title race. And Liverpool is already done, and now it looks like Liverpool is done. And I'll tell you that they will be back. I've said many times, I know all the pundits, all the specialists or former players, they know everything that is going to happen after 5 games, I'm not able to do that. So, always I wait for 10, 15 games to know exactly what is going on. But I think obviously Liverpool and Arsenal are there, someone else will be there, and hopefully we can be there. The Reds will move above City and within 1 point of Arsenal, who host Crystal Palace on Sunday, with victory at Brentford. City are unbeaten in their last 9 games in all competitions since suffering the losses to Spurs and Brighton. And Guardiola said, we have good momentum but not the consistency for 90 minutes. Our mentality and our body language is in the right spot and it will make us stable, but we need to play better during 95 minutes. City welcome Liverpool to the Etihad Stadium on Sunday, November 9th in what will be the final game before the final international break of the year. £35 million midfielder could make sensational Liverpool return. Liverpool made big changes to their Premier League title-winning squad last summer. Richard Hughes, the Reds sporting director, oversaw the reconstruction of Arne Slot's squad to the tune of £450 million. The club broke the British transfer record twice for Alexander Isak and before that Florian Wirtz. In order to accommodate all the new faces, several sales or temporary departures were required. We saw Luis Diaz, Darwin Núñez, and Ben Gannon-Doak leave from the forward line, and there were big changes elsewhere too. Kieran Kelleher, Nat Phillips, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Jarell Quansah were also among the number to make way. Harvey Elliott leaves Liverpool. And Harvey Elliott saw his Liverpool stint come to an end, securing a loan deal to Aston Villa that came with what looked like an easily achievable permanent clause. Elliott, 22, moved to Villa Park for a 1-season loan spell which would become permanent if he played 10 matches, according to a report in The Athletic. At first it might appear inevitable that a player of Elliott's quality would have knocked off those appearances quite early on in his Villa stint. But it's not worked out like that, and unless things change then Liverpool could miss out on the previously agreed £35 million fee. Elliott cannot make Aston Villa break through. Elliott has only played 5 times for Unai Emery's side, 3 times in the Premier League, and his prospects look no better for Villa than they did at Liverpool. Emery has used Elliott for barely 90 minutes in the top flight in total, but his Villa spell reached a new low on Thursday night. With the former European champions trailing against the go-ahead Eagles, Emery sent on 5 substitutes and did not include Elliott in those changes. Instead, he remained on the bench throughout. It was bad enough that the England under-21 legend failed to make the starting 11 in a much-changed lineup. Elliott risks missing out on Villa's permanent move. And it only served to underline his outsider status when Emery ignored him during the dismal 2-1 UEFA Europa Conference League defeat. Sporting director Richard Hughes will be hoping the situation improves fast. Villa are close to their financial limits according to various reports and will not easily part with £35 million for a fringe player if they don't think he's worth it. Therefore we could see Elliott re-emerge at Anfield for another spell, having initially joined back in 2019 from Fulham. 3 Brentford stars who could restart Liverpool nightmare if Arne Slot isn't careful. Liverpool face Brentford on Saturday evening but will have to be mindful of the Bees' main threats in order to turn around their poor Premier League form. Brentford will welcome Liverpool to the Getch Community Stadium on Saturday night, with the Reds looking to have turned a corner following their dismal run of form. Arne Slot's side demolished Eintracht Frankfurt 5-1 on Wednesday night in the Champions League phase. The much-needed result follows a run of 4 losses in a row, with the Reds losing to Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Galatasaray in the Champions League, and Manchester United. However, the Bees could well offer a much sterner test than the German side, who have shipped 18 goals in the Bundesliga this season. Keith Andrews' side have an armory of attacking weapons to get at Slot's men and halt their resurgence in its tracks. Mirror Football takes a look at the 3 who could cause Liverpool a plethora of problems come Saturday evening. Michael Caode. Italian star Caode has become one of Brentford's shining lights this season. The right-back has featured in all of Brentford's Premier League games so far this season, with his direct approach putting defenders on the back foot. Liverpool's inconsistency in the full-back areas will have Caode licking his lips. New signing Milos Kerkez and veteran left-back Andy Robertson have both struggled in the position this season, as the Reds have looked extremely vulnerable down the flanks in the majority of their Premier League outings this season. Caode's promising performances have even caught the eye of a host of clubs already, including Arsenal, according to reports in the Italian press. Caode's agent, Andrea Ritorni, has claimed it's only a matter of time before he makes the jump to an elite side. Igor Thiago. Perhaps the man Liverpool should fear most this weekend, Thiago has been in inspired form so far this season. The Brazilian lit up the London Stadium on Monday night as his goal helped put West Ham to the sword, 2-0. The 24-year-old scored his 6th goal for the Bees this season, and only a tight offside call denied him a brace in the encounter. With Liverpool looking fallible at the back, including the usually reliable centre-back pairing of Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahima Konate, both guilty of defensive lapses in recent games, Thiago's physical presence could be a huge thorn in the side of the Reds come Saturday night. Kevin Shade. Having largely been deployed on the left wing this season, Shade will be eyeing up Liverpool's frailties at the back too. With Jeremy Frimpong out injured, Connor Bradley will jostle with Dominic Szoboszlai for the fullback position, although it's thought the former will get the call, with the latter keeping his place in midfield. Bradley has struggled on occasion this season, and the Germany international, who has been thrust into the forefront of Andrews' plans after